What is up, metalheads? Well, here's an interesting video I've been wanting to do for some time, and of course, many of you have been asking me to try and get this one done, which is what if you were to take Metallica's Load, released on June 4th, 1996, and Metallica's Reload album, released on November 18th, 1997, and combine the two and create one solid album from that. Now, obviously, there are many fans who love both albums or one more than the other. Typically, I find sentiments range that Load is a stronger release than its sister album Reload, but there are many who like the Reload album, of course, a little bit more. To each his own, that's absolutely fine. I love many of the songs which are on here. Obviously, this was a very polarizing time for the band. Of course, not as polarizing as when we got the Saint Anger album. For all of you guys that love that album, more power to you. For me, it's not my thing. I love Metallica, I love every major release that they've had, try to look for the best in it, but Saint Anger and Lulu, yeah, well, not really for me. But coming back to the case in point out here, these two albums, of course, have their own unique qualities and they have a lot of standout tracks. So I thought it would be a lot of fun to try and combine and see, what sort of, track listing we could create and how many tracks would make the final cut, in terms of, actual length. Maybe it might have even been split into a double album if it would have come out in the mid 90s or 1996. Like, let's say that Metallica actually released just a double album, containing about 16 to 18 songs, and picking up the best of the crop. Now, obviously, you're going to have diverse opinions. This is just mine, but bear with me. I would like to take you down this road, and let's see what we can get. So, obviously, you'll see over here next to the artwork, I have the track listings listed out. Many of you like a lot of these tracks. Many of you have told me from time to time that you hate some of this. Some of you, in fact, like these songs when they came out. You don't listen to it as much anymore as compared to the first five albums of Metallica. That being said, we're all fans of the band. We've all seen them live. We really love what they've done over the years, and more power to them. We're just so happy that they still continue to be such a monumental force in music. So, that being said, I finally decided to revisit these albums, sit down, listen to everything, and then decide and say, okay, what songs would I pick out and what order would I reshuffle them in? And the grand total would be something like this. So, to begin with, I think the album would kick off with Ain't My Bitch. I think it's just a great album opener. Of course, now for those of you who liked Fuel, which is how the Reload album begins, I thought that would be a good second track because it really builds up and gets the energy flowing even more. Just to take things down is to a major standout track, which I know many people love, which was Until It Sleeps. And then to kick things off in a harder gear would be King Nothing, getting into, again, that slightly more commercial sound with The Memory Remains. Now, Attitude might be a bit of a controversial pick because I know many guys don't like this song, many of us do, but I think Attitude has a certain charm to it, so why not? Let's just go with that. And just given the title, I just thought given that and the vibe, I'm going to put Waste My Hate at track number 7. Then get into a more mellow sound, which is The Unforgiven 2, which of course we all love, a great sequel to the first one. The Unforgiven being my absolute favorite Metallica song of all time, the video included. That guitar solo which Kirk plays on The Unforgiven, unbelievable. At least to me. You don't have to agree with me, you may not like it, but at least to me it's his best guitar solo. So much of feeling behind it. I think that's why it stands out. But anyway, The Unforgiven 2 coming in at number 8, then picking things up into a slightly happier sound with Hero of the Day, then getting into one of the epics, which is Bleeding Me, then into The House That Jack Built, which I think is a very underrated track. In fact, I think a lot more people need to give a little more attention to it. And then, of course, you have The Cure, or Cure, as it is listed. And then getting into the next big epic track, which is The Outlaw Tone. And in fact, I think a lot of us, in fact, much prefer not the studio version, but the S&M version. The first S&M, which came out in the late 90s in 1999. I still remember when that album came out. It was quite a big deal, in fact, combining the orchestra. Of course, many other bands had done it before Metallica, but that really gained, a lot of popularity and really brought that sort of concept to the forefront in many ways, given their stature and how popular they are and still are. Next, after Outlaw Tone, I would go into Devil's Dance. My God, what a menacing thing. I really missed Jason Newsted. I mean, the way he plays that, he is the pivotal force of this particular track. Let's be honest. Then you get into Bad Seed, taking things down a little bit more mellow with Mama Said, and finally capping the album off with Fixer. So these would be the 17 tracks that I think if they have had to have finished everything, distill it down, put it together. And what would they call this album? Well, Load, Reload. And let's say that if they had gone with the Load name, fine. But maybe something which maybe some of you guys can probably toss in the comments as to what you think could have been the title. And between the two artworks, I would probably, although I know we all know the background about this, blood and semen and all that, from the photographer slash artist, who's, samples that they actually use to create these album artworks. But I somehow lean a little more towards the Reload color scheme out here. Again, if they had only these two choices. So calling the album Load with this cover and maybe this set of tracks would probably be what I would go with. But that being said, thanks so much for all of you for listening. I'd love to know what you think in the comments below. Do smash the like button. Do hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much to everyone who's always supported me and always written in and even passed comments and so on. So please let me know what you think. And until next time, guys, take care and rock on.